Hello and welcome to this week's show. We've got soccer and field hockey highlights, an interview with a senior volleyball player, and a look back at some of the greatest plays this month. I'm Peter Dubois, and this is Inside Owl Athletics. 2 Owls had career nights when Keane's women's soccer team took on UMass Dartmouth Wednesday night. The UMass Dartmouth Corsairs scored first in the 18th minute of the game with this goal from Ella Rath. Early on in the second half, the Owls goalie Shelby Offord dove for this shot to keep the Corsairs from taking a 2-0 lead. Offord had a career-high 11 saves. In the second half, Sarah Karen scored the first goal for the Owls with just under 20 minutes remaining in the game. Then, just 5 minutes later, Karen scored again, giving the Owls a 2-1 lead late in the second half. The Corsairs tied it back up a few minutes later. This game ended up going to double overtime and ended in a 2-all tie. Women's soccer recruited a big group of freshmen this year. I recently talked to Coach Lyons and her players to see how their newest teammates are adjusting to playing at the collegiate level.
The women's soccer team is beginning to find its rhythm after a slow start to the season. Head coach Denise Lyons says her team just needs time to develop.
I brought in a good class this year. I think that they're very young, inexperienced, but they have talent. They're talented, they work hard, and I think they're going to be the future team of Keane.
Lyons says the team's dynamic had to change after losing so many starters from last year.
I hate to think of a rebuilding year, but losing 11 was tough enough, but then losing 15 due to, as I said, injuries, an ACL, compartment syndrome, just different reasons, and so losing that was a lot of players.
One junior on this young team has earned her spot as a captain. That captain, LEC Defensive Player of the Year Nicole Dalmeida, says she's working to unite her team.
I think a lot of my responsibilities were kind of just making sure everyone was comfortable, helping people adjust, because we had a lot of freshmen come in this year, and with not a lot of upperclassmen, we're a young team, and without exposure to college soccer, it's intimidating, it's scary the first few times.
The two things I think stands out the most from high school to college is the speed of play. The game is so much faster at the college than it is in high school, and also the physicality of the game. I mean, they're playing against women.
Freshman Alyssa Wilcox says support from her upper-class teammates has been key in her transition to a whole new school and level of play.
The older girls, I definitely think, were encouraging on the field. They were firm yet really comforting, getting us to push ourselves to win, work as hard as we can.
The team feels confident in their abilities moving forward, and so does the coach.
Our record, as I said, isn't as good as it should be right now, but we're learning, and each game we get better, and I think we'll surprise a lot of teams at the end of the season.
I'm just really glad I came to Keene State. I think that the small community and the encouragement from all the athletic staff and the athletes themselves has made this transition a great one, and I wouldn't want to play anywhere else.
Women's soccer team will kick off against Rhode Island College at home Saturday at 3 o'clock. Volleyball hosted rival Plymouth State Tuesday night. Tyler DeRosa reports it was just the rivalry game you'd hope for.
In-state rival Plymouth State was able to give the Owls a tough time during the first set, but the rest of the match wasn't close. Plymouth State dominated most of the first set, but the Owls were able to come back late to tie it up at 24. Set 1 came down to this play. A Keene State miscue cost the Owls. Set 1 went to Plymouth 26-24. The roles would be reversed in the second set as the Owls would get off to a 9-5 lead. Plymouth State made a comeback, tying the score at 10 off of this error by Olivia Matthew, but the Owls pulled away, taking set 2, 25-19. Third set now, Kate West just keeps the ball in bounds, pushing the lead up to 12-2. The Owls swept the last two sets, 25-14 and 25-12, for a 3-1 match victory. After piling up 14 kills in the night, Megan Palmer says the rivalry with Plymouth State added extra motivation.
Definitely gets us more pumped up, preparing for this game and everything, we were just so pumped up and so ready to go. And that's why losing the first set we were oh, we have to get our stuff together and get ready to go. So.
The Owls will be back in action the 29th. For Inside Owl Athletics, I'm Tyler DeRosa.
Also Tuesday, the field hockey team visited Western Connecticut for their 4th Little East Conference matchup of the season. The Owls goalkeeper Rachel Losby saved this rocket from making it into the net 16 minutes into the game. After a scoreless first half, the Colonials struck first with this goal from Stephanie Clapp. With just 27 seconds left in regulation, Kayla Klein scored the Owls' first goal of the night to tie the game at 1-1. Klein came up big for the Owls again in double overtime, putting the game away with this shot. Owls win 2-1. Field hockey junior Haley Beaupre is one of 3 Owls receiving Little East Conference awards this week. Beaupre is the Defensive Player of the Week after a pair of defensive saves that helped her team go 2-1 over the stretch. Volleyball sophomore Megan Palmer is the Offensive Player of the Week, averaging 5.2 points and 3.3 digs per set. Volleyball senior Riley Bunker is back for the 3rd time as Defensive Player of the Week. She averaged 6 digs per set in the Owls' 2-in-1 week. Soccer is sweeping the Owl Athlete of the Week awards. Sophomore goalie Shelby Offord made 13 saves and picked up her 4th career shutout last week. Samuel Binagano picked up his 8th career goal last week, including the game winner against RPI. Congratulations to all of our Athletes of the Week. As we reported earlier, Keene State beat its LEC rival Plymouth State in volleyball this week. Inside Owl Athletics' Kayla Prisco sat down earlier today with one of the players who made that win possible, Neve Dodd.
Neve, thank you so much for coming, and congratulations again on your win against Plymouth State this week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So what are one of the biggest challenges that Keene State's team has faced going against Plymouth this week?
We knew it was a conference match, so we knew we had to come in working hard. But the hardest thing I should say we found out during the game was they definitely scouted us. So as far as us picking up on just little stuff, tips like that, we are kind of weak against that. So Plymouth did capitalize on that, but at the same time, it was a great learning experience because we knew that, okay, if Plymouth picked up on this, there's so many other teams that could pick up on this. So we did learn a lot playing them, but we also learned a lot from them as well. They showed us what they had, all of what they had in the first set. So it was pretty good to see, basically, we knew what we were going to encounter for the next 3 sets.
Right. You also have 5 new freshmen on your team. How are they contributing to the team's success this season?
They're great workers, hard work ethic, strong players too as well. They're always in the gym lifting too, which is great to see as freshmen that they take the volleyball serious, which is good. We all do. But they contribute a lot to the team. They're so friendly, great learners. They're always in the gym early to set stuff up, and they're all around great people.
And does the team do things off the court as a group just to like keep bonding alive? And
So we lift together on Sundays. We always do. We eat together almost all the time after practices. Last week we didn't have practice. We had a swim practice. So as a team we just went in the pool and swam around, which is nice as a change. So just little things like that. I mean, they'll still keep us healthy. They won't hurt us or injure us,
Right.
but keep us together.
Right. So the team actually made it to the LEC title last year, and you've made it there in the last 2 years. What are you looking forward to this season? Or is that just the main goal? Do you have any specific goals for yourself?
The main goal is definitely win this season overall. Last year we came really close. I mean, to winning the whole thing, I should say, both years. So we've been there so many times that I think this year is definitely our year. We got to push through, but I think we could do it. But definitely take home the championship title this year again.
Well, Neve, thank you so much for coming. It was great
for
talking
having
to you.
me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Neve and her teammates have their next game on the road this Saturday, facing the University of Southern Maine at noon and the Sage Colleges at 2 p.m. As September comes to a close, it's time to look back at our top 5 plays of the month. Coming in at number 5 in women's soccer against Framingham State, Sarah Caron scores off a perfect throw-in from Maggie Vogt to give the Owls a 1-0 win over the Rams. At number 4, in volleyball versus Plymouth State, Kate West dove for the ball and got it to land just inbounds on the Panthers' side of the court. West put together a career-high 22 digs in the match. Number 3, Samuel Binagano weaves his way through defenders to score the game-winning goal with just 3 minutes remaining in men's soccer versus RPI. At number 2, women's soccer player Taylor Bazalian kicked the ball over the goalie's head and into the net to give the Owls a win against Colby Sawyer College. And at number 1, field hockey senior Julia Babbitt scored this overtime winner against LaSalle College in remarkable fashion, giving the Owls their first overtime win in nearly a year. Field hockey is one of 5 Owl teams in action this weekend, and it is all happening on Saturday. The action starts at 11 that morning when cross country hosts the Keene State College Invitational. At noon, the volleyball team takes on Southern Maine in a road tri-match. They'll be back at 2 facing Sage College. Men's soccer is also on the road to play Rhode Island College at 1. Here at home, field hockey faces off with Westfield State at 2:30 Saturday. And across the complex, women's soccer kicks off against Rhode Island College at 3. Remember, you can watch all Keene State contests through the Owl Athletics website. Just go to KeeneOwls.com, click on the Game Day tab, and then select Live Broadcasts. Again, that's KeeneOwls.com, Game Day, and then Live Broadcasts. That's all for this week's show. I'm Peter Dubois, and for everyone at Inside Owl Athletics, thank you for watching.